Hi there, how do you say himself, herself, myself, etc. in Dutch? Well, is it Zich or Zelf or Zelfs? Well, we're going to find out in this video, and we're going to start with Zelfs with an S. Don't forget the S. If you're saying Zelf without an S, then we're in another category. We're not talking about Zelfs. Zelfs means even. For example, zelfs dat gaat hij doen. Even that he's going to do. For example, he did a lot of things and he's taking that on top of everything else. So even that he's going to do. Then zelfs means even, and it has nothing to do with himself, myself, herself, etc. All right. What about the other two then? Zich and zelf? Well, we'll start with zich. Zich is a reflexive pronoun and it stands with a reflexive verb. Let's see two examples. Ik haast me. Hij wast zich. First one is I hurry, and the second one is he washes himself. But in English, with the first one, you're not saying myself, I hurry myself. No, some Dutch verbs that have this reflexive pronoun do not take a reflexive pronoun in English. Now, if you're interested in reflexive nouns, I made another video about that you see appearing up there. You can click the button that appears there. But important to know, there are reflexive verbs in Dutch that are not reflexive in English. All right, good. So, when do you use zelf then? Well, zelf has two uses. The first one is to say on your own without any help, and the second one is to accentuate a pronoun. So let's take a look at the first one. For example, ik ga dat zelf doen. I'm going to do it myself. All right. Can you use me here? Well, no, because it's not a reflexive verb. Gaan is not a reflexive verb, so you can't use me there. Ik ga dat me doen. No. Gaan, not a reflexive verb. Can't stress it enough. There are reflexive verbs, there are verbs that are not reflexive, and then you use zelf. Ik ga dat zelf doen. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it on my own. Well, independently, maybe autonomously, or without any help. All right. With the reflexive verbs, the stress is not on going to do it without any help. It just means that you're doing it to yourself. Like he washes himself, he's washing him, he's not washing someone else. Well, it's not that important that it's autonomously. It's just to determine who's washing who. Quite important. If you're washing someone else, your kid or so, then you're going to use another thing. If you wash it yourself, then you're going to use ik was me. All right, so zelf is autonomously on your own, but it has also another use. As I said, it is there to be attached to pronouns. And what does it do when it's attached to pronouns? It's going to stress a little bit the pronoun. For example, hij wast zichzelf. Then he washes himself. In English, it's really hard to translate this, but if you say hij wast zichzelf instead of hij wast zich, then you're going to stress a little bit that no one else is washing him. He is washing himself. It's a little stronger. All right. And can you use this as well with zelf in one word? Well, yes. Hij wast zichzelf. In spoken language, there is no pause there, but I'm saying the pause here just so you understand it's with a space. Hij wast zichzelf. That's what you would say if you have a son and he grows up and you're like, oh, hij wast zichzelf. He can wash himself autonomously on his own. I don't need to help him anymore. So that's what it means when you're putting a space there. If you're saying it in one word, then you're stressing that nobody else is washing him. All right. The zelf can also be attached to other pronouns like personal pronouns. For example, hijzelf heeft ook een auto. He has also a car. But in English, I'm not 100% sure about the right translation here because it's a little hard. I would say he also has a car himself of his own. Just to stress that he also has a car. Right? So then you can also use zelf. Same so for the other personal pronouns. Ikzelf, jijzelf, hijzelf, zijzelf, wijzelf, etc., etc. You can also use it with the object. For example, die auto is van haarzelf. And haarzelf, then you're stressing that car is of her. It is her property. And you're giving it a little bit of a stress here. The car is really hers. You can also say the auto is van haar. That's her car. And you can also say the auto is van haarzelf. Of her own. It's her own property. So remember, zelfs even. Zich you're going to use with reflexive pronouns. Zelf has two uses, on his own, but also to accentuate a pronoun. All right, I hope this was interesting. If you have further questions, feel free to write them in the comments. And see you in another video. Tot ziens!